Welcome to the Lady NightHawk Show, where we talk about certain topics. We talk about informational stuff that, you know, guys, we've been, from the veterans on down, we've been, you know, going down this journey. We have people on here that rap, you know, sing, cook, write books. Today we got a book writer, okay, an author, filmmakers, you know, and then we have just topics that we talk about. It just, we let the spirit, you know, we let the spirit guide. I don't do script. I'm not a script person. And I just want you to know if my eyes look a little puffy and my guests look a little puffy, because we just got through doing a Jeremiah I Am show, right? And I'm going to let her introduce herself, because 101 says you got to let your guests be introduced within the first 10 minutes, within the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, okay?
Okay.
I just want them to know why my eyes are
Yes.
And who are you?
I am Nicole Daniels. I am the author of a book called From Pregnancy to Purpose.
And Nicole, where are you from exactly?
I'm from Washington, D.C., Northwest.
Yeah. And I just like it because, you know, when I get people to come from Washington, D.C., I get excited, you know, because most of the time people come from someplace else or by way of, you know what I mean? So, yay, D.C., okay? But your book, and you said you were going to sign this, and I don't want to forget, because I knew you'll walk right out of here, because we went to another store and you would not have signed this book to me, for me. If you could do that for me, I would appreciate it.
I most definitely
And then we will talk about what the book is about. Okay. Okay, because he has the book on there showing on the screen. And if you could just take a shot of her signing me this autographed book, please. Thank you. She's signing my book. Okay. And I appreciate it. And the book is very heartfelt. And I thought that we were going to get through Jeremiah's show. So if you get a chance, you look at that one first, and then come back to Lady NightHawk, okay? Because it's a book for everybody. And the title of the book, once she finishes, the title of the book is like, kind of deceiving from the standpoint of view that you think that it's only talking about one particular topic, but as you read through the book, you find that it's really for everyone, and the purpose, you know, it says it's from pregnancy to purpose, but the purpose is really what God wants us to do and who He wants us to be, and that book hits right on topic. Okay, it's just that I thank you, and can I read? Can I read it? Can I read what you wrote?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I had to let you know that. Oh, they kill me with Miss Paula. I'm so old.
You're not.
Miss, that's okay. Miss Paula, you are such a blessing. I thank God for orchestrating our meeting. Pray this book blesses and encourages you. Love. And it has. And you know, from just us just talking about this book, that, you know, a lot of times people give me stuff, they say, oh, well, read my book, right? You know, and I do read them, but, you know, and this one, just, I think that because I can get through this book. Man, no, it took longer for me to try to get through this book, because in between the crying and all that other stuff, I had to put it down, you know, and then come back to it, you know. And I said, okay, God, I got a week, okay, so, you know, let me get through this, okay. And He did. He let me get through the whole book, and it was so much understanding in that book that in our conversation that we had, I mean, I didn't even break down when I talked to you on the telephone. And we talked about the last topic that we had. I was good, girl. After I read this book, it made me realize some things about me that, even though I'm a certified mental health person for adults and children, it's still, you don't realize what you're going through until you hear somebody else's hurt. You know. So tell us a little bit, you know, about yourself. I mean, you said you were from D.C., but tell us about the author, okay? Could you tell us about the author on the back of the book, okay?
Yes, so as I stated, I am from Washington, D.C. I am the third child out of 4. I am married to my awesome husband, Gabriel. We have 2 lovely kids, Gabe and Nadia. I do have a bachelor's degree in information technology and a master's degree in management technology.
And so what was the inspiration for the book?
The inspiration for the book came from God. I was pregnant with my second pregnancy, and in the middle of the night, God had whispered from pregnancy to purpose. I really thought that it was my husband. And after discovering that it wasn't my husband and God coming back to confirm that it really was him, he pretty much gave me the title From Pregnancy to Purpose.
And the title, like I said, it reaches out to a lot of people that have had miscarriages. And I know that they don't even realize that miscarriage, they thought they got over it. And they don't even realize that here today, you know, it's still in your heart. You know what I mean? Because that's not an easy thing.
No.
I don't care whether it's the first 4 weeks or it's the 7 months, regardless of whatever the fact is, that once you feel birth in your life, in your belly, and movement, then you know that you have a live person that's inside of you.
Absolutely.
And so it doesn't matter, and I don't think that people realize that sometimes that from reading this book and looking at where the country has moved with mental health, and that there's so much, from young children to adults. So it's not just, you know, old people, you know, it's everybody.
Yeah.
But from reading this book, it made me realize that we do need to recognize that my senior citizens that are sitting at home by themselves, okay, and their families not visit them like they supposed to, or because they got their own life. Not that because it's something wrong. It's just that in this hustle and bustle with all of us, because everything is high, you know, the jobs are not paying you what they should be paying you, and so people are trying to survive.
Yes.
And so in your survival, sometimes you forget, and you think that by sending a text or, you know, sending a note that's enough, but it really isn't. I mean, you know, when I read this and I looked at some of the things and some of the people that I've talked to, I realized that I needed to put this out there today, that if you have a parent that is a senior citizen and they living by themselves, guys, it's okay to call them on the phone. It's okay to send texts and emails, but you got to go past and see them, okay? I know that all of us have things that we have to do in life, but we don't know what loneliness is until you experience it yourself. And so you don't know why all of a sudden that people have Alzheimer's that comes on faster. It's because they're lonely, you know, and you're not using their brain, and so it takes them in a whole different direction. So I'm just saying to you guys, look out for those senior citizens. It don't even have to be your parents. It could be your neighbor, okay? Or somebody that you know, or one of your relatives, that you need to look at them and talk to them and just see how they doing. You know, if it's no more than just a drop past for a second, okay? And so I'm gonna move it down the scale. That not only happens to our senior citizen, it happens to everybody, okay? So let me say that. Everybody needs to have a sense of security and stability in their life. Would you not agree?
I agree.
You know,
I definitely agree.
and they have to feel like they loved and wanted.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing that God has ever taught us to do, is to love one another. That's what His mandate to us is.
That's right.
To love one another. And so in this book, when you pick it up and you look how it inspires you, it grabs you first, you know, the inspiration, because you don't really explain that inspiration like you really have it on the back of this cover. But it grabs you, and I don't want to read it to you because I want you to pick it up, okay, and read it for yourself. But there are things in here that really are going to touch your spirit, and I think that it's a very good book.
Thank you.
For people that are suffering.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop talking. That's my opinion, okay? And like I said, it really touched me. It took me a minute to kind of get through this whole book without crying. And then the night, you know, on Jeremiah. If you have never seen me cry in all these years, you go watch Jeremiah. And it's all from realizing that something in your life is going on, and you don't know, you don't realize that it's still there, buried down deep, but you don't realize until something happens and it surfaces. Now, did
Absolutely.
I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me hear you about, you know, how that book. I saw what the inspiration was. I know what the book is about, but tell my viewers some of the things that made you write this book. We know it was from God.
Absolutely.
Okay. So.
Yes, it definitely was from God, and it wasn't just only for me. It's for everyone. We in a world, I feel like we're hurting, we're broken. We have so much trauma, problems, and issues that we go through that, as you said, Ms. Paula, tend to suppress it. We tend to not want to deal with it, or act like it does not exist.
Right.
But what happens is, when we don't deal with problems and issues and they lay dormant, it deals with us. And then that's what causes mental issues. That's what causes the bipolar. Of course, we know that for some, it is in the DNA, but I think too, it's also something that's developed over a course of time. It's people that's acting out, have no control over their emotions. I was like that, so I can attest to it. But God had to take me back to the root, and it started back from when I was a child, and not even realizing that that's what it was. But I knew that as I was growing up, I knew something wasn't right with me. I wasn't really able to convey it. I wasn't able to really express it, because out of fear, you really don't know what's going on with you. You know that it's there, but as a child growing up, I know during my time, you can't really talk or express how you feel. You can't really ask questions, you know, and so I suppressed it. And it continued to deal with me, even as I became a teenager, into young adult, even into being an adult. It still was dealing with me because I was refusing to address it and deal with it. Right. So pretty much God was telling me, you need to get to the root. Go back to the root of your problems. Go back to the root of why you feeling the way that you feel. And oftentimes we tend to do things, like myself. I used to subject myself to a lot of mistreatment, abuse, all because I felt unloved. Right. You know, I didn't really feel like, I felt like if I did for you, you're gonna love me. You know, if I tolerate things, you're gonna love me. But still within myself, I still was feeling unloved. But God showed me that I am loved, you know, but it was something that he had to break from me. And this was all that breaking point for me, which was poured into the book.
And it's definitely poured into the book. And then it pours out the book. Because anybody that reads it, I'm going to go back to that place. Bishop Jakes one time came here and gave us a New Year's Eve sermon years ago. And it was basically talking about, for people to heal, you have to go to that place. You gotta pull it out.
Yes.
Where was that place that first took you where you are today, that made you hurt so bad, that made you not be the person that you can be? Because you got to get to that place before you can move on and have purpose in your life.
Absolutely.
And this was so long ago, I'm just summarizing, that's what I got out of that whole thing that night that he preached, and I think I boo-hooed that night, you know, because he was talking about hurt and pain. Even when we saw people was talking about making you talk about mental health like they're doing now. But he said you have to go back to that place. Ask the Lord to show you where, like you've been shown, where did that hurt first start? Where was that place? Who was that person that made you be that person that you felt like you were not loved? Or you were that person that you didn't trust anybody? You know, go back to that place.
Yes.
And when you get there, ask God to release you from that hurt and that pain, so that you can move on with your life. And you know, if we don't do that, because like you said, you don't have anybody to talk to. No. You don't want to admit to anybody that you have a problem, because you want everybody to think, not talking about you personally, I'm just talking about people. That you don't want people to think something's, you know, wrong with you, so you try to hide whatever that hurt and that pain is. And then people don't want to hear. because they going through something. So when you try to sit down and talk to people about what you're going through, sometimes you gotta find that you'll find that person that can relate. But then you want to find that person that's in denial. I ain't trying to hear that today. You know what I mean? Because they got some hurt that they have to deal with as well.
Absolutely.
And that's what I see in this book. And it makes you have to go back and look. Like the bishop said, where was that place? That when you first started feeling how you did about yourself, find that spot. And then ask God to release you from it so he can show you how you can deal with it. And I'm just paraphrasing, but you know, Bishop, if you see this or somebody tell you, you know, that was years ago, but that's what I got out of it, okay? So I'm not trying to steal your work, but that's what it was when you said root. And I found that actually, it did help.
It does.
You know, and you know, people don't realize that we are in a world that's in distress. We are in a world that people are really have mental health issues and they don't even realize it. You know, even from a loss of not just this was about a pregnancy, but a parent, you know, a grandparent, a good friend, you know, a co-worker, you know, people that you encountered and somebody else's child. You know what I mean? It does. It touches in a lot of ways. And I think that what happens with this book is that it makes you look at yourself and it makes you go to that place. Now, you don't know me from dirt, okay? God had us meet, you know, you and your husband. We met, and because I let the Spirit draw me to people. And the Spirit drew me to you and your husband. And, you know, we had that conversation, and I asked you, did you want to come on my show? And your husband said, yes. So that's why we're here. Thank you so much, husband. Gabriel. That's why we're here. And secretly, she said to me that he doesn't know that he really is my manager. Okay, so I'm telling you, secretly, you are her manager. You don't know it, but you really are her manager. So I thank you for coming with her tonight. I do want to address that her husband is here to support her tonight. He's sitting with us in the studio. So if he didn't know, now he knows. No. But good job, though. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, because this was something that I think this is the time that people need to really wake up.
Absolutely.
You know. So what is your feeling about it?
I agree. You know, I think that too, I think a lot of times people don't feel like they have that safe place. So you have to have a safe space in order to be vulnerable. And unfortunately, we do live in a selfish world. Like, as you said, a lot of times people, they're going through their own problems. They're going through their own issues. That doesn't make it right. But one of the things my husband and I often say is that when you value someone, you're gonna make time. When you value someone, I don't have to tell you that I'm hurting, because you'll see that hurt and you'll make the time to try and sit down with that person to try to see well, Miss Paula, you seem like you was off a little bit today. You know, is everything okay? Right. You know, because that's what love does. That's right. You know, we say that love and value go hand in hand. Right. Love is a choice. It's supposed to be, right? But it's supposed to be a choice, even though it's mandated. So we have to make the choice to love beyond borders. And so if one doesn't do that, unfortunately, you have so many people that's running around just feeling unloved. They feel like they don't have a safe space or place that they could, you know, come and talk to and express how they're feeling. I feel depressed, I'm down. I know I did not. Right. I did not have that safe space at all. And that's why I often say, once I actually went to counseling, I'll now say that God plus therapy equals healing. Right. And the reason being is because we can jump into God, the scriptures, the word, building a relationship with him. But if we don't go back to the root of our problems and issues, it's still going to stay there. Right. And it's going to lay dormant. And what happens is the devil gonna be sitting there lurking, and he's waiting for that opportunity to jump in.
Right.
So let me in. Okay, I see. You know, it's an open opportunity. You weak right here, and when you jump in, it brings up something that we've been suppressing for so long. It makes it to this big, ugly problem and issue where it's an eruption, a mental eruption, where we wonder why people are going in and shooting up stores or innocent places. It's because some undealt with issues is here, and it hasn't been discussed. It hasn't been told. Maybe they don't feel love. They don't, and no one really possibly took the time to let them know that they're loved, to let them know that they're here.
And then sometimes it's that the whomever they're with or they're hanging with, and some of the things they watch on television or the games that they play or music that they listen to, that is steering them in that other person's direction. Not God's direction, but steering them in the other direction, and they don't know why they're going out shooting a place with people that they don't know. You know what I mean? But somebody's put hatred into them, and they didn't even realize that they were being, you know, taught hate. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. It's people that in churches that do the same thing. They believe in God, but it goes back to the root of their problem.
Absolutely.
You know, and whether or not they really know what that root of that problem, that root of that problem really is. And there's nothing wrong with going to get help from a mental health person. Okay, that's why you see a lot more commercials now that actually talk about mental health, and they have medicine. But the biggest medicine is talk, prayer, God.
Absolutely.
You know, the Spirit of God, it will pour it out of you, whether you're ready for it or not when it's time, right? If you're seeking it, you got to seek it for Him to help you, you know. It's just like the scripture that you have on your shirt today. Would you please tell me? That's my favorite scripture. I just want you to say it. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 29:11. God says, I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to keep you. Plans not to destroy you, to give you hope in a future.
And that is so true, you know, that if we would just let Him be our guidance or our compass in life, that I think that the world would be a much better place. We were almost there. The world. We were almost there where we were getting along with one another, no matter what color you were, where you were from, what you did in life. We were all doing the kumbaya thing. We didn't even know it, you know. We were almost there. We were there for a minute. Okay, and then we had this person to come along and says, oh, it's okay to hate people. Oh, it's okay. You know, these people too. They got feelings and expressions, and the whole world changed. And, you know, for us as Christians, we shouldn't have been surprised because He told us that there was wickedness in high places. But it has changed this whole world around that everybody thinks they're entitled. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying that just pick and choose what your entitlement is. And it's not to hurt other people, okay? It's not to be mean and aggressive. You understand what I'm saying? God wants us to love one another. So you should know that spirit, you know, which one is you dealing with, you know? That's why we don't do script. I mean, every guest that comes on my show, we do let the Spirit guide the show. I don't care which one it is. Yeah, and people are amazed. I say I do 2 shows in one night, and we talked about a whole different topic, which was related to your book. But God sent us into a different direction because we're dealing with another set of people.
Absolutely.
Did you feel that?
I did.
Okay. And so, you know, I'm not a script preacher. I've always let the Spirit guide me. You know, I read, I study, because that's what He wants us to do, to show ourselves approved. So we have to read and study, right? So this book is a good book if you're not sure where your root is, that thing that has really kept you from being the person that you want to be. Even though it says, the name of the book is From Pregnancy to Purpose, trust me, this book will get you to that root. And you're going to try to figure out, oh, well, where in the hell did that come from? I mean, seriously. Because you know, God has a purpose for all of us.
Absolutely.
And if we don't get on board with what His purpose is, our world is headed for destruction.
I agree.
You know, because it's too much hatred, it's too much anger, you know, that we're having right now. People don't want to put masks on, but I've noticed that, oh, they putting them on.
Yeah.
Okay, I got mine. Okay, mine.
Yeah,
I had to
mine
fold
too.
it up real far from me. I had my mask. But I see more and more people every day wearing masks.
Yeah.
I've heard the school teachers saying that the kids are coming to school and they spread it and they taking it back home to the adults, you know. And then adults are taking it to other people. And what I don't understand is that if you know you have COVID, I don't understand why you don't put a mask on, you know, because we're getting ready to head back into the direction that we had come from.
Yeah.
And that's because everybody got so comfortable with not wearing masks. Guys, I'm telling you, I've never stopped telling you, if you're in a group of people, a crowd of people, you need to wear your mask, okay? I mean, it's not going to kill you to wear a mask. You don't know the difference between an allergy and COVID.
Yeah.
You don't know the difference between a cough and a cold and COVID. And they don't even call it COVID anymore because they have more commercials on television that call that respiratory problem all these different names and all these different medicines that are out there. When flu and pneumonia season comes around, you really get confused because I've seen more people that are buying, you know, my allergist has me switch up from season to season on the 2 drugs that I take, right? Well, this time I tried to switch up back and go back to the allergy medicine and it didn't work. So I had to go back and take the other one that I was taking and I saw the difference, right? But it's more people out here that are buying allergy medicine, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But they don't know whether or not they have COVID or not. What I don't understand is that if you know you have COVID, then why would you go in a place and not have a mask? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking God right now to make those people well enough and wear a mask.
Yeah.
You know, if they want to go home and take their mask off, get back in their car and take their mask off, that's fine. If you know the person walking down the aisle, pull it down, you know, but when you run across somebody else, pull the mask back up.
Yes.
You know, because we are our own self-destruction. And we don't even, do you know the name of the next COVID virus? Do you know if there's another name for it after they moved it from Omicron or whatever it was called?
I don't know.
I don't know. They ain't telling you.
Yeah, no.
Okay. The other thing I want to say to you is that if you do have a COVID box that you were getting for free, you know, to take your COVID test, and you were getting it for free when they were giving them out, look at the expiration date on the COVID boxes. If it's expired, throw it in the trash because you're going to have a false positive. So I'm telling you, just because you had a box, they gave it to you a year ago, look at the expiration date, and if the expiration says that it has expired, throw it in the trash because every one of those boxes have expiration dates on them. And if you take it because you have it in the house, you're going to get a false reading, okay? So to keep everybody safe, throw them in the trash because people don't know that.
Yeah.
Nobody's told them, right? So I'm glad that you came on my show. We're going to have you back. Okay. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to boo-hoo again, so you know I changed that topic real quick. If you want to see 2 women sitting on one show boo-hooing and trying to get through it, go look at the Jeremiah church show, okay? And watch it, and it led us into this discussion that we had tonight. But I do want to tell you that where can they get this?
It is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay, and do you have a website of your own?
Yes,
okay,
we
could
do.
You tell us your website?
Yes, our website is www.gndpublishingcompany.com.
Okay, and with that, we're going to say good night to everybody. We're going to look over here at this camera right here, and we're going to wave to everybody and tell them good night.
Good night.
You. Throw away those old